Scott Wrigglesworth. I'm the elected Ingham County Sheriff. It's the most abused law out there. All you got to do is say you have chronic back pain, and there's $1 million doctors out there that'll write you a script and you can go smoke as much weed as you want to. Take away the law enforcement piece. I don't care if I'm the sheriff or not. I don't care if I'm a cop or not. If I'm just your standard citizen, to allow anybody to go get high that's over 21 whenever they want, it just flies in the face of logic. But there's others that are just so passionate about this argument. It's unbelievable to me. Every single day in law enforcement, not just the sheriff's office, but any local law enforcement of any size is going to 1, 2, 5, sometimes 10 mental health calls a day. And for us as the state of Michigan to legalize another mind-altering drug in this mental health crisis we're in today just literally makes no sense whatsoever. This is a simple equation for me. The more opportunity we give people to use recreational marijuana legally, the more they're going to stretch the boundaries and the more they're going to take it kind of the onus on their own, do whatever the heck they want. We see that all the time with a lot of different things in law enforcement, and I certainly think that if it's everywhere, people are going to stretch the bounds of the law, and we're going to have to deal with it as law enforcement. Drugged driving or high driving is just like drunk driving. However, much more difficult for law enforcement to get the probable cause to make an arrest. You know, it affects your decision making, your reaction times. That's clearly why it's against the law, but very, very difficult for us as law enforcement to enforce that. Way more difficult than it is the drunk driving statute, because we have preliminary breath tests and some standardized field sobrieties that we can run people through for alcohol. Extremely more difficult for us to detect somebody that's driving that's high on marijuana or some other drug. People will stretch the boundaries. People will decide what they can and can't do as far as smoking. And that's scary because there's a domino and a ripple effect to that. Then other people see that, other people start doing it. And law enforcement is taxed as it is. And for the public to expect us to be able to know every single nuance and enforce every single nuance of this new recreational law is going to be very, very challenging for us. The medical marijuana law as it's written now is very, very challenging to enforce because a lot of it's up to interpretation. To my knowledge, law enforcement wasn't really used all that much when that law was compiled, and I don't know how much input we had with this recreational marijuana bill that is on the ballot here in November. And again, I'll circle back around to people say all the time, you know, why don't you spend your time on fighting real crime? Why are you worried about a little bit of marijuana? Well, that's exactly what we'll be doing if this passes. If you have a whole bunch more people out there out getting high, making bad decisions, getting behind the wheel of a car, then that's exactly what we're going to be doing, is dealing with real crime. Real crimes where there's real victims, real people that die in car crashes, real people that get their houses broken into because somebody's looking for the next fix, real victims in assaults and all the stuff that goes with this. That's exactly what we'll be spending our time doing, in my opinion, if this gets passed.